Tonight, we're tracking the storm and a number of tornado warnings and other storm warnings as this storm pushes through the area.
We have team coverage with News 12 crews all over Eastern Carolina.
First tonight, Rebecca McGann is in Craven County. She's checking on conditions.
Chris Young is monitoring things out of Pitt County.
Our Maya Cruz is keeping watch in Beaufort County.
And we'll check in with them in just a moment.
But first tonight, we're going to head to our team of meteorologists keeping an eye on this, keeping everyone in the area safe. Donnie, what can you tell us?
Well, as we go through the next few hours, we're still watching the main line back to the west that will push through. And because of that, we still have that severe threat, including the potential for tornadoes. You can see we are in the enhanced level 3, and that means that we could see gusty, damaging winds and tornadoes with this system. And we do have that tornado watch, as you can see, for the counties highlighted here, mainly the southern and southwestern part of the viewing area. But let me show you the radar. We want to point out a couple of things here. Number one, you see that one area that came ashore right about now in Onslow County and made its way to the north. That produced the tornado warning. Another area like that just offshore has now produced a severe thunderstorm warning that just went out, and that severe thunderstorm warning runs until 6:45, and again, that includes Craven County, also looks like Carteret County, the very eastern part of Onslow County. So we'll continue to track that. But again, what we are seeing is the potential of more thunderstorms moving in, and it looks like another severe thunderstorm warning hasn't popped on yet, but it looks like that will be coming on shortly. We'll keep you up to date with that, but you can see that this one area we are talking about in the areas around the Crystal Coast is where we expect to see this. Emerald Isle over toward Atlantic Beach. Here's an area, this is Vanceboro, making it all the way down to Pollocksville. That is the area that produced the storm in Onslow County just a couple of minutes ago. Otherwise, bigger picture shows you back to the west what we're dealing with. That's that line that's running through Raleigh all the way down to just north of Charleston right now. That still has to push through as we go through the evening. I'll give you a complete update of what you can expect, and we'll look for the potential of improvement coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Donnie, thanks. It's getting dark out, and we know the saying, turn around, don't drown. If you can't see the road in front of you, it's not going to be safe. We're going to head out now to show you the conditions across the area. News 12's Rebecca McGann is in Craven County right now. Rebecca, what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of wind right now. Luckily, I lost my first hat, but I found another one in the car. But we had to move away from Persimmons, where we had that loose boat that was knocking against the tree. We had to move away from that because the river was really starting to push up on that road. And like Val said, we didn't want to turn around as it was getting bad. So we're over here in Union Point Park. We're under the gazebo, where if you look behind me, I'm going to have Jordan come move with me over here, where it's a little bit brighter. You can see the white caps of the river kind of just pushing up out into Union Point. I'm kind of stepping in a little bit of puddles here under the gazebo as that water starts to push in. But really, we're just seeing a lot of rain, and there's a lot of wind coming through. Like that rain, it's not super bad, but it is starting to pick up. But mainly, we're just seeing that wind. You can see we've got a really massive gust coming in right now, and it's really just pushing that water up from the noose. But we'll keep you posted on air and online as we see more. We're going to be out here all night tracking those conditions. Live in Craven County, Rebecca McGann for News 12.
And from Craven County to Pitt County, where there's hundreds of power outages reported, we're checking in with News 12's Chris Young now. Chris, how are the conditions there?
Well, Tyler, the wind has really picked up. I'm actually standing so close to the camera so I can hold the tripod down because this wind is really picking up. I'm here at a Sheetz gas station in Greenville, just trying to stay out of the weather, trying to stay safe. But as you can see, there are people behind me driving through. I mean, look behind me. I'll step out of the way so you can see all of the trash that is just on the ground. It's been blowing. It's been whipped around by all this wind, but as you can see, there are people still on the roads, still driving, but I wouldn't recommend it. This wind is coming out fierce, and people need to stay safe. But for the most part, the rain has seemed to die down a little bit, but like I said, the wind is just absolutely whipping out here. I'll give you guys another update in around half an hour, but until then, I'm Chris Young, live in Greenville.
Chris, thanks. And from Pitt County, we head to Beaufort County. That's where we find News 12's Maya Cruz with how businesses are handling the storm. Maya, what are you seeing right now?
Storms just like this one, Val, has become a major inconvenience for those who work down here in Washington. I spoke with someone who works at a substance abuse clinic alongside the dock, and here's what she had to say.
That's basically like the last resort of everything. Like with this being closed, what if someone's going through a crisis? They can't get here to us, to their therapist, to go through their treatment of whatever they're going through.
Flynn said that the water has flooded onto the parking lots many times, which has made it difficult for patients to come in and out. She said that this weather will not stop her and stop the other workers from getting and seeing their patients. Live in Beaufort County, I'm Maya Cruz, News 12.
The winds were whipping in Carteret County this afternoon, too. No boats were out on the Bogue Sound. This is video from Morehead City, where the stiff winds made the water choppy and even walking along the shore difficult. If you have to be out and about tonight, be careful, especially on the high bridges where the winds can be even stronger.
And how is all this weather impacting air travel in and out of our state tonight? Let's check out FlightAware.com's misery map. And yeah, there's a whole lot of misery out there. It shows more than 100 flights into and out of Charlotte Douglas International Airport now delayed because of the storm, with 9 cancellations at last check. And now a look at OAJ Airport in Richlands, that's in Onslow County. According to their website, 2 flights traveling to and from Atlanta, Georgia were delayed, but later flights to Atlanta and Charlotte are still listed as on time. There are also cancellations at Coastal Carolina and Craven County.
And if you want to share what the weather looks like in your neighborhood, you can scan this QR code using the camera on your phone to sign in to chime in. And when you can safely do so, take a picture or a video on your phone, then upload it directly through Chime In. All you have to do is sign in, and you are 1 click away from sharing your videos and photos with us.
As we continue to track this storm system tonight, it's easy to get the latest updates, too.
All you have to do is just point your smartphone at the QR code here, scan it with your camera app.
That'll take you to our app store, where you can download the Storm Track 12 weather app.
And Donnie will be right back in 2 minutes with another update on this storm. Stay with us.
We are tracking strong to severe storms across the area. We had a tornado warning in Onslow County a little bit ago that we tracked for you. And again, as you take a look, we are in the orange. That indicates a level 3 or the potential for enhanced risk of strong to severe storms. They have extended the tornado watch coverage area. It's still till 9 o'clock, but it now includes all of those counties to the north. You can see the only ones not included at this particular point, the Outer Banks, as well as Hyde and Terrell County. Now, here's what we're looking at. The radar, you see the movement mainly to the northeast, but the actual front is pushing to the east, and you can see that moving into Raleigh right now, or at least the line of activity. And I'm going to start off and show you what we are seeing here with the live scan of radar to the south. Couple of areas back just to the north of Wilmington, up toward North Topsail Beach, and then another area right around Emerald Isle. And again, we do have this area that moved through Onslow County earlier, lifting off to the north. You can see near Vanceboro and continuing in Craven County right now down to the south. Back to the west, there's that line that I talked about. You can see near South Hill up in Virginia. That's just to the east of South Boston, where we have been seeing a couple of tornado warnings up there. But again, we'll be tracking this. I'll update you on what you can expect for the rest of the evening, coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Donnie, thanks. Tonight, we're learning more about the suspect in a murder that happened more than a decade ago in Carteret County. After years of investigating, deputies were led to Robert Icecant.
And he's charged with murdering a man in Atlantic back in 2010. Today, he went before a judge for the first time.
News 12's Biljana Garland has details on his first court appearance.
Investigators say they spent 13 years tracking down the man who killed Jonathan Salter. They walked the man they say committed this crime into this courtroom for the first time. 68-year-old Robert Icecant, in handcuffs, tilted his head to the side as he was led into the courtroom on Tuesday. He stood silently as the judge read his charge. 1 count of murder for killing 41-year-old Jonathan Salter more than a decade ago.
Johnny's family, they're very pleased that this case is, we finally gotten to a point where we could charge someone and hold them responsible in this case.
Carteret County Sheriff Asa Buck says he never let this case go cold.
You can't jump out too fast and charge somebody with murder and then bring a case to court if you don't have all of your information together where you can have a prosecutable case where you can convince 12 jurors of someone's guilt.
Sheriff Buck says it started with a dispute between Icecant and Salter, who were both living in Atlantic at the time. He says on December 11th, 2010, deputies found Salter shot dead in his home.
I mean, these types of things don't just affect the victims and the families, but these types of events affect an entire community.
A community without answers until now. Investigators were led to Icecant, who was living across state lines. He was arrested in his current home in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, by Charleston County Sheriff's deputies last week. Icecant is being held without bond and chose to hire his own attorney moving forward. In Carteret County, Biljana Garland, News 12.
Biljana, thanks. And after the break, we continue our coverage of the storm sweeping across the eastern U.S. tonight.
How other states are also seeing and feeling the effects when we come back.
While we're starting to see and feel the effects of the storm system here in eastern Carolina, people in other states are starting the cleanup. Just take a look at this photo coming in from Clayton County, Georgia. It shows the deadly aftermath of the storm system this morning. Authorities say the driver was found dead on the highway after the tree limb crushed the vehicle.
Moving farther south, search and recovery efforts are now underway after a tornado ripped through the Florida Panhandle this morning. It hit the town of Mariana, which is west of Tallahassee. Take another look at this video. The twister hit an RV resort, destroying several vehicles and also damaged homes in a nearby community. Medical workers went door to door to make sure everyone was okay. There's no word on injuries at this time. A large portion of the area is still without power tonight.
Some places here in eastern Carolina, too, as that storm continues to roll through, power outages can be a concern. Right now, we're looking at more than 120,000 power outages across our state. This, according to the Department of Public Safety. Most of these numbers are coming out of Mecklenburg County in the Charlotte area, but it's starting to impact people here in eastern Carolina. Those counties in yellow have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 outages. Meanwhile, you can see a couple of counties here in orange, like Duplin and Martin County. They have between 1,000 and 2,000 outages. We'd expect to see a change as the storm moves off to the coast.
And as we take a look at the radar, all the activity back to the west still has to move in our direction. That's the main line that we've been looking at, but we have been dealing with certainly some storms in our area. This is the one that just moved on shore, but I'm going to show you a little bit bigger picture here of the coast, and you can see in Pender County a new tornado warning there, and it goes right up against the Onslow County line. So again, in Pender County until 6:30 in the very southeastern part of that county, you're looking at a tornado warning for there. So we'll want to keep an eye on that. That's similar to the situation where we saw earlier with that potential tornado that was indicated by radar near Surf City. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for the next couple of minutes. But you can also see that we do have this area right in here that is now a severe thunderstorm warning, and that runs until 6:45, and it includes certainly Carteret County, eastern part of Onslow County, southeastern part of Jones County, and into Craven County. And this is moving off to the north. And again, all these storms at a pretty quick clip, but you would assume that with all of the high winds that we've been seeing. But again, Swansboro, you're on the trailing edges of that rain in Emerald Isle, but it is lifting off to the north, Havelock out over the Croatan. And then we do have this area approaching Washington, between Washington and Vanceboro. That's actually the cell that moved through and produced the tornado warning back in the southern part of Onslow County earlier. But again, you can see it's mainly just a small area of heavier rain. Still some storms are possible with those smaller cells. But here's what we want to keep an eye on. Runs from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way up into Virginia. And again, you can see that we have lots of severe thunderstorm warnings associated with that. It still has to move through the area as we go through the rest of the evening. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And because of the potential of severe storms in the level 3, this is certainly a risk that we're concerned about, an enhanced risk. You can see that we could have some heavy rain, also gusty gusty, damaging winds and tornadoes for the area. And we've extended the tornado watch. It's now extended north up into Bertie County, Martin, as well as Washington, Beaufort, and Pitt County. Not included Hyde County and Terrell County. But again, this area that you see highlighted, a tornado watch until 9 o'clock tonight. So do keep in mind, until about 11 o'clock, you can still see those strong gusty winds. Even into tomorrow, we're going to see gusty winds. Severe storms are possible with those evening downpours. Now, we do have the areas highlighted in green. That is a coastal flood warning, especially along the Pamlico River because of that southerly flow that we're seeing. Northern side, especially of the Pamlico River and into the Pungo, those are areas you need to keep an eye on. We have a coastal flood advisory until midnight tonight along the Neuse River, the Bay River, and you can see down East Carteret and the areas around the Sound in Pamlico County. We have a wind advisory and wind warning that runs through tonight for the area as well. Now, let's talk about those wind speeds. This is sustained winds you're looking at. 35-mile-per-hour winds in Greenville, 45 down along the coast. If you look at the future track wind gusts, we could see anywhere from 60 to 70-mile-per-hour gusts overnight. And then by tomorrow morning, we're still looking at 30, 35-mile-per-hour gusts, occasionally up to 40 through the day tomorrow. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as a potential concern. By the way, this afternoon, we have hit 58 at Cape Lookout, 52 at New Bern. This is wind gusts. 54 at Jacksonville, 48 at Beaufort, 45 at Kenansville. Here comes the system pushing through 8 o'clock tonight up until about 10 o'clock, then off the coast by the time we get after midnight tonight, and things are going to remain windy, but at least the storms should settle down. A couple of days here that we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies. Another system in Friday late in the day, and Friday night could actually bump that up to about 80% on Friday night with more storms possible, and then dry and cooler for the weekend.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Today's severe weather spawned an early morning tornado in Marianna, Florida. There are no reported deaths, but in Alabama, a woman was killed when a tornado struck her home. In western North Carolina, more than a quarter-inch of ice built up in some spots, coating trees. And then there was the flash flooding, which was already happening in many spots early this afternoon, with the threat spreading into the mid-Atlantic and Northeast later in the day.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
Still ahead tonight, an update on an injured NBA player from Eastern Carolina.
And the NC State Wolfpack and UNC Tar Heels are getting ready for a historic meeting on the hardwood. It's something that hasn't happened in 5 decades. More next in sports.
You know, NC State and UNC's basketball teams are going to meet tomorrow night in Raleigh. And here's a really fun stat for you. Both teams are 3-0 in ACC play this season. You know the last time they faced each other with at least 3-0 league records? That was 1974. So someone will get their first ACC loss tomorrow night. Kevin Keats has never been 3-0 in league play before at NC State. He's relishing the opportunity to go all Dave Dorn and knock off the Baby Blues again, just like they did last year when they beat the Heels in Raleigh.
It's going to be huge, and I mean, we're going there with a chip on our shoulder, just being that the way we lost to them last time, and it was a pretty disrespectful loss, and you know how it gets over.
His game is so weird. It's different. On paper, both teams like to get out. Both teams like to run. I can see that, but I don't know. You know, we just obviously, you know, for us, we're just going to stay the course. We're going to try to play our style of basketball, which is trying to get out and run.
That should be for a quite raucous environment in Raleigh tomorrow night when they tip it off at 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, some relatively good news for Greenville native and former UNC star Day'Ron Sharpe. According to the Nets front office, he has a hyperextended left knee, and he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. The 22-year-old hurt his knee Sunday, and he's missing Brooklyn's trip to Paris, France. Day'Ron averaging 7.7 rebounds per game this season. We'll see if that left knee can get healed up. Former Northside of Beaufort County star Bam Adebayo had 22 points and 15 rebounds to help the Heat beat the Rockets by 7. Idris was in foul trouble in the first half, but then scored 18 of his 22 in the second half to help Miami win for the 6th time in their last 8 games.
Foul trouble the first half, it happens. But that's when you have to continue that mindset of how can I impact winning? how can I still be consistent? And second half, you shake the fouls off and you go out there and perform.
Oh, well done, Kyle.
The Heat will try to stay hot when they're back in action tomorrow night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Former Kinston High School star Reggie Bullock, by the way, did not play in that game for the Rockets. National championship game. Michigan rolled to its first title since 1997. The Wolverines dominated on the ground and never really had much trouble. They pulled away in the fourth quarter to win it 34-13 to cap off a pretty wild season for Jim Harbaugh.
Off the field issues, we're innocent. and we stood strong and tall because we knew we were innocent.
Now he's got the trophy, and now he's got to figure out what he wants to do. He'll have lots of NFL options. Oh, by the way, the last time Michigan won a title game, Tom Brady was a backup quarterback who played in 4 games for the Wolverines. All right, speaking of NFL coaching vacancies, there is one in Tennessee now because the Titans fired Mike Vrabel. The 48-year-old had 4 straight winning seasons in Nashville, but then went 6-11 this year. He won't be out of a job for long if he does not want to be. You can catch the rest of your ENC sports on our website, WCTI12.com, including more about the Panthers and their vacancies for a head coach and a general manager. I'm Brian North for News 12.
And as you take a look at the radar, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning, as you can see, down in Carteret County, the eastern part of Onslow County. That continues up into Jones and Craven County. A new one has just been added on that runs for Craven County up into Beaufort County and Pamlico County as well. And this will run until about 6:45 for the first one. The second one until 7 o'clock. We'll continue to track those. But again, we're expecting for the rest of tonight, those showers and thunderstorms to move out by midnight or so. And then the next couple of days, it still will be breezy tomorrow, but those sunny skies will make it seem a little better.
All right, always, hey, stick with us online and on our mobile app as well.
Stay safe, everyone. Have a good one.